Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogens. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is having an amazing day. Today is Tuesday, April 18th, and today is National Columnist Day. That's right, for all us little journalists and whatnot. It's also National Lineman Day, Lineman Appreciation Day, so make sure you thank the telephone company. And, of course, it's National Animal Crackers Day, because no crackers would be complete unless there were animal crackers. Thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. We're live every Monday through Friday on YouTube and audio only on Clubhouse. And you can use that fancy little QR code right there in the top-hand corner of your screen to find out exactly where we live on the internet. If you are joining us in Clubhouse, you can also participate in the show by raising your hand if you have a brief comment on the story most recently presented. And we are going to kick this show off real fast. That's right. We are going to jump right on in to the dope dad himself. That's right. Rico Lamitte, the dope dad who is constantly changing diapers and constantly hosting tea parties, playing Elsa songs, and possibly even throwing in a little Baby Shark too. That's right, is the dope dad himself, Rico Lamitte.
Thank you, Jason. You guys hear me okay? How's my mic? Am I good?
Yeah, you sound good.
Good. All right. So today's conversation for a spicy Taco About It Tuesday, I want to take us out to Minnesota. Back in January, Minnesota State Representative Zach Stevenson, a Democrat, stood at the Capitol and said this to his colleagues in attendance. Members, Minnesotans are ready. Cannabis should not be illegal in Minnesota. State and local governments are spending millions enforcing laws that aren't helping anyone. Money that could be put to far better purposes. There is a better way. And since then, the land of 10,000 lakes has been on a path to legalization led by a new left-leaning state Congress. But after being stonewalled by state conservatives on the issue for so long, naturally, they'd be running into a little resistance along the way. And last Thursday, you had just that. The Anti-Narcotic, Anti-Addictive Drug Coalition, Smart Approaches to Marijuana Minnesota, and members of state law enforcement rallied at the Minnesota State Capitol to officially form the Minnesota Reefer Madness Avengers, sworn to oppose the North Star State's looming cannabis legalization House bill, sponsored by none other than Stevenson himself and his no-good cronies. The group's assumed leader, Olmsted County Sheriff Kevin Torgensen, gave a riveting speech to arouse the low-energy insurrectionists on safety concerns he had with the legalization movement. Am I okay with it? No. I'll never be okay with legalizing marijuana. It's really saddening to me that we're willing to have as collateral damage the deaths on our highways just because people want to use marijuana recreationally. Captivating words. The faux rage came from a study released by the American Public Health Association, citing from 2000 to 2018, the percentage of fatal crashes involving cannabis grew from 9% to 21.5%. Stevenson's bill has already passed 14 committees and is now en route to the Ways and Means Committee. Additionally, a Senate committee recently approved a Senate companion bill sponsored by Lindsey Port, also a Democrat in Minnesota. He and the lawmakers behind it claim that they are aware of these concerns and took them into account when crafting said measures. And with all the things going on in the world today, especially in this case, with all the civic unrest we've seen on the national media coverage of these last few years in Minnesota, you're telling me a sketchy car crash data report is the best argument these fine folks can come up with to fight legalizing the one thing with the real chance to calm Minnesotans down and bring them together? I really do hate resorting to whataboutism, but in this case, you got to speak the same language. There's no data cited by the same group tracking how many prescription drugs were in the system of fatal crashes over the same period, but it is easy to find data from the Minnesota Department of Health showing that from 2020 to 2021 alone, 1 year, opioid-involved overdose deaths increased by 44% to an all-time high of 978 deaths in 2021. Nothing there really linking it to driving, but shouldn't some of that anti-weed anger be aimed at Minnesota's real drug-related crisis at hand? I'm struggling to see the point of Thursday's rally other than a waste of a decent Thursday afternoon, and I hope it wasn't produced with the aid of Minnesotan tax dollars. I can't imagine anyone involved gaining any fans or new supporters here, but maybe it's just my own lack of empathy. I want to hear what the rest of y'all think about this. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street. What do you guys think?
I think it's just another way to, get some kind of religious or moral, point of view out to the masses. It's clear that people want to smoke marijuana or eat marijuana or ingest marijuana. And
Right.
for these politicians just to get on a soapbox and claim dumb facts, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. They're going to lose. You're right. It is a waste of a good Thursday.
Right. They're just grasping at straws at this point, and they're just really, really trying to hold on to any semblance of the past.
Right. What about alcohol-related deaths? They're not closing all the bars down, are they?
No. And
no.
As I pointed to in a story, I think it was last month or the month before, the mistakenly the Republican Congress before this new Democratic Congress came in for Minnesota, they accidentally or not passed passed edibles as being legalized last year, and inadvertently saved the craft beer industry in Minnesota, because all the craft beer factories that were going under started producing cannabis drinks.
Oh, that's funny.
And brought in millions and millions of dollars. So they're not really going to like what don't you buy? Like all these
I don't buy that the cannabis beverage industry brings in millions and millions of dollars.
It definitely does, Jason.
Those are real facts and figures. There's a story that I covered. Well, it literally revitalized a bunch of the old plants that were going under because COVID shut down like a lot of the brew pubs and stuff like that. And they started using the same materials and everything just to make cannabis drinks, and it revitalized like a lot of those businesses. So I don't really think they're going to have much support in terms of the people, in terms of a lot of the small business owners. So this anti-weed cop and the rest of his team, like, good luck with what they're doing. I just don't think it's effective. I think it's a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree with you on that part. It is definitely a waste of everyone's time, and this cop needs to get with the times and learn some other different types of approaches to help bring in finances for his jurisdiction, as opposed to just stealing it from the people.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. The CBD beverage market is estimated to be $46 billion.
Now, I would believe that. But as far as like the marijuana beverage market, I'm not buying any of that.
Oh, Jason.
You don't have to buy it like other people are.
That's my point. Is
right.
People aren't
just
buying.
Because you're not buying the drinks, right? There's other people buying some fucking drinks.
Beverages. Stop it.
All right.
You guys are starting to sound like those speculators. They're like, beverages are going to be the hottest commodity in cannabis.
It's
meanwhile, it's the smallest portion of the market.
It's an easy transition for a lot of folks who are not in the movement already, and they're not smokers. So be drinking their weed.
56.49%.
Let me tell you some interesting
growth.
data. Okay, interesting data that I'm aware of from stores that if you are a first-time customer walking into a store, the likelihood of you coming back if you purchase an edible is at 0%.
Really, first time 0%.
0%. If you're a
Where's this data? Where's this data coming from?
if they purchase from retails, if they purchase flour or even a pre-roll, they are 95% guaranteed to come back and make a secondary purchase.
This comes from
Dude,
the
you should give a free pre-roll with every edible.
the
Get
Jason
people
Beck
back in the
Research Center.
Huh? Yeah, the Jason Beck Research Center. Exactly right.
The Bro Science Research Institute of America.
Bro science.
Bro science for the world, bro. Yeah,
They get no, but yeah, the drinkables are a huge entry into the market right now, and they came out of nowhere during COVID. You know, a lot of folks were out there drinking cans of infused drinks at home. I guess I don't know. Like, I'm with you, Jason. I'm not really a cannabis drinker, and edibles really mess me up in ways that are unpredictable. So I try to shy away from edibles, but to each their own, and if people are making money off of it, they're making money off of it, man. No props to them.
I'm with it, man. Let's we're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
There you go.
How's it going, guys? Saman Razani coming to you from Green Street here with Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast available on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify? Tune in now and check it out.
He is West Hollywood's right-leaning president of cannabis tourism and the industry's longest continuously operating retailer, and a lover of smoking on the best weed in the world and a hater of all things related to drinkables in cannabis.
Just stupid.
Coming to the stage next, y'all know who it is.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. We'll tell you what, I got something to taco about because Colorado issues an advisory for potentially unsafe medical marijuana batch that has been sold at dispensaries already. And man, when you hear some of these dates, it's going to blow your mind. But here we go. The state is issuing a health and safety advisory for a marijuana batch sold at several dispensaries in Colorado, including in Colorado Springs and the Pueblo area. According to the alert, high levels of yeast and mold were found on medical marijuana flower produced by Long Gone Farms during standard testing required by the state. Colorado is among several states that require total yeast and mold testing to evaluate the safety of a particular batch. The state health department and the DOR deem it a threat to public health and safety when marijuana is found to have total yeast and mold or aspergillus levels above the acceptable limits established in Colorado Marijuana Rule 4115. The Colorado Department of Revenue, the DOR, Marijuana Enforcement Division, said in the advisory on Monday. Additionally, the state says it has identified additional marijuana batches that were produced at the same time as the aforementioned contaminated batches and never submitted for testing. According to the Department of Revenue, all of the batches of concern were sold by medical marijuana stores between June 1st of last year and March 9th of this year. Can you believe that, you guys? Oh, man.
Shocking.
Patients who have these products, affected products in their possession should destroy them or return them to the store from which they were purchased for proper disposal. Patients who experience adverse health effects from consuming the product should seek medical attention immediately and report the event to the Marijuana Enforcement Division by submitting the MED reporting form, the DOR said. There is a link that can be found here, and the affected batch numbers under the health and safety advisory there's a whole bunch of batch. There's some Pablo's Revenge Runch indoor, some Runts indoor, some Oreos cake, some Zero Gravity oatmeal cookie, and then there's the potentially contaminated ones. A and B big room, Oreos big room, White Runts big room, Blue Ivy big room, and Snowman big room. and of course, Crush Berry's big room. And all of these stuff was sold at all these different stores: Light Shade Labs, Green Farms, Long Gone Farms, Choice Organics, and just at all of these different retailers throughout Colorado. But I'm going to digress, and this is Jason Beck reporting for High at 9 News, and Stone Slade might have possibly purchased some of this weed.
Yo, I'm gonna call Big Cap. Everyone knows Colorado's too dry to grow any yeast and mold and aspergillus. You know that weed just dries out instantly once they cut it down. People, I'm gonna call Big Cap.
I'm agreeing with the Big Cap. I only caught the end of that, but Saman knows what he's talking about. In Colorado.
I know that's
about this time he doesn't.
The Jason Beck.
dry.
I'm only playing. I mean, of course, it's cannabis. It's biological. It could definitely grow some weird shit. But I do want to just bring up an old point here, Jason. How many millions do you think that drinks brought in the California market this year to date?
I don't even think they brought in 1 million.
Oh, Jason, you are so wrong and misinformed, my friend. 55 million across.
Tinctures aren't considered beverages, Simone.
I'm not counting tinctures.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm in BDS.
I'm in
our lovely BDS analytics.
I can smell.
I'm gonna channel my inner Gretchen Gailey and say we got to keep it on topic, y'all. keep it on topic. I do want to point out you didn't let me make the connection, Rico. Okay.
All that boofy moldy weed is gonna get turned into distillate and it's gonna get turned into drinks. $55 million coming at you.
What about the stuff that's already been sold though, Simone, to all these people with respiratory illnesses that have already smoked this shit in Pueblo and out there?
Well, if they're in Pueblo, then moldy weed's the least of their concern. But you know, like
and Jason, on this story, like of all the ones that they listed, were any of them outdoor? I think they were all indoor there. Is this and this is not a knock on indoor or outdoor, but is it more of a chance that you get these outbreaks and stuff like this from indoor grows?
Look, nationwide, the failure rate of crops is about 20%. So that means that 20% of crops are failing for either yeast, mold, aspergillus, or some other kind of microbial mess, whether it's coliforms, E. coli is very seldom seen. But, I have a lab and we see this stuff. The Vegas average is right around 16% failure for yeast, mold, and aspergillus. From an aspergillus perspective, the reason why it's so prevalent is because the aspergillus feeds on dead leaves, right? And once look, yeast and mold is in every grow. It's just how you control it, right? And then how you, keep it under whatever the state limits are where you are. Here in Vegas, or Nevada, should I say, the aspergillus, its presence or absence of. So we literally check for aspergillus DNA, and if it's present, it's a fail, and if it's not present, it's a pass. But it is a big problem, both aspergillus and yeast and mold around the country. And you're right, they take this failed product and they do make distillate and isolate, and then they put it in vape pens and edibles and everything else that you're eating. The good news is that the process, for all of that extraction, it's usually
pasteurized.
It just kills everything.
Well, and not just extraction, Todd. It's the distillation. The extraction actually doesn't kill the mold or the mycotoxins. It doesn't remove any of that. You can't really filter that out. You have to heat it and you have to distill it. So yes.
Right. And from a grow standpoint, the only thing that kills aspergillus DNA inside your cultivation is bleach. And we highly recommend that in between harvests, you clean with bleach and make sure that all of that stuff is gone. But even when we go and sample, because in Nevada, the testing lab has to go to the facilities and pick up the samples. And, we clean our tongs between every sample, first with alcohol and then with bleach. Not together, because that'll make chloroform. But you got to make sure everything dries. But the bleach is the only thing that will kill this aspergillus DNA. And it's the only way to really pass tests by using that in your cultivation, for sure.
Interesting.
Oh, you know what? I do like what Nick has to say about that. He says that drinks only sell because companies buy them out for giveaways.
Maybe that's his
Yep.
particular
That's definitely true.
clientele. But I mean, numbers are what the numbers are.
The
If
beverage market is a failed
5
market.
million folks are buying drinks, and those are what the numbers are saying. Whether it is the dispensaries buying them from wholesalers, or if it's the people buying them,
Yeah, it's the dispensaries buying them because they don't want to waste them.
55 million. And the dispensaries are just going deeper into the debt because in California there's a $600 million debt bubble, and they shouldn't be buying them. It's bad business.
They keep buying them.
Sips is pretty good. I don't know if you guys have had Sip little like an energy drink bottle.
All my wife's friends love those.
Yeah.
Love those in the can. Those drinks, but they like them. The women like them, so yeah, we're gonna keep on selling.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wow, no more comments on dirty weed, huh?
I mean, there's tons of comments on dirty weed. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't smoke any of that Colorado weed in the first place, let alone, especially if it didn't pass testing. I mean, but I don't think anyone really goes to Colorado to smoke their weed. Maybe
that's right.
Stone does.
You got excellent extracts,
bro. If you get it fresh, there's some good Saman. Come on, there's some good growers up there. If you get it fresh, it's fucking good.
Look,
if you
Saman
don't
ain't
get
even
fresh,
close.
Colorado weed. Colorado. Look, anybody who says Colorado weed is all bad obviously hasn't smoked all the good weed in Colorado. There's great weed in Colorado.
Oh, all the good weed? You say that like there's so much.
Jason, I recall distinctively.
Let me tell you something. The only time there's good weed in Colorado is when I'm there personally. The weed that's in my pocket, okay? Straight up.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Jason and I smoked some bomb weed in Colorado that he didn't bring, and he just doesn't want to admit it. But it's few and far between because of the hyper commercialization of the.
You're talking about something that came from a home grower, Saman, not something that came out of one of these facilities.
No, there's a couple small craft facilities that pump out great product in Colorado, but the hyper commercialization and the dwindling price for what we're doing is making it impossible for these guys that are craft, that are good, that are quality to continue to do their craft in a quality manner because they have to make money because they're a business.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, moving to California from Colorado in 2016, it really did open my eyes. California has obviously been doing this for like a century plus. Multi-generational farmers that have been doing this, and truly, some of the greenhouse and outdoor cannabis that I tried when I first came here, it just blew me away. It was the most potent, powerful cannabis that I'd ever tried. Colorado obviously had some good stuff, but nothing quite like that. So yes, does California take the cake? Yes. Is Colorado gonna be a cake as well? Yes, maybe a cupcake, but it's still a cake.
And just to quote the chat again for you, Saman, you know, Anna's saying that she's the highest the highest purchasing customer at Catalyst for beverages.
I love that. Anna would love to hear some data for our other members.
The data is all her buying it, Saman.
No, it's not all her buying it. That's crazy.
More bro science.
It's all her buying the beverages.
What about that place in Modesto? It's called Finos. That they're those guys run.
They don't sell any beverages either.
Every dispensary is different in where you are too. So I mean, I can see like more of the touristy areas and
with a novelty.
With a lot of folks that are newer to the industry, I could definitely see those being higher on the list of with sales towards drinkables. But
listen, the drinks are delicious.
Okay? I'm not a fan personally, but I have seen how my wife and her friends get all excited over that BS. But
well, let me tell you,
excited over lots of things, Rico.
When I launched Artet in 2018, 2019, you know, that was a big challenge, and it's still going strong. It's one of the better, you know, cannabis beverages on the market, I think personally, and I think that there's huge potential there. Drinks are a large you know, swath of the market in any other consumer market, and it's just a matter of time till they get there. It's just too young right now to have that become like one of the top categories in our sales mix, but you know, it will get there, and Jason will be sipping on a cannabis infused Mai Tai soon enough.
Yeah,
and people
right.
are they're already programmed, to go into bars and sit and sip on stuff. So I mean, it's an easier transition for them than to go to a lounge and start smoking if you've never been in that kind of environment.
Look at what Anna is saying. This is an interesting data point here. Catalyst has all ages, but average age has to be late 20s, early 30s for drinks. Which I would think with 20s and 30s would be smoking weed, but that's not their generation. They didn't grow
I
up
don't know, but
smoking doobies in the back alley of their high school. You know what I'm saying? That's our generation. They're smoking their weird vape pens, and that's probably what they're going to be.
Right. I would be interested to see what the consumption rates were at Coachella this weekend or this past weekend and next weekend, when that is that younger.
All those sales were off metric, so
there.
I don't have any data from that, Rico.
I thought they actually had some dispensaries at the at the festival this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Did they not?
Nothing. I mean,
they have the last 2 years.
I know Coachella's always had a thing, and so has Stagecoach, that they weren't allowing any cannabis at any of their events.
No, they have it the last 2 years. 100%. I covered the story last year.
I don't know. You're gonna have to show me that one. But we gotta go on to the next one, irregardless of all of that. We gotta go on to Mr. Todd Denkin. That's right, the man with a lab and a news van. That's right. He's founder of the National Marijuana News Network, and he's also the founder of DigiPath Labs, the premier testing facility in the state of Nevada. What do you have this morning, Todd Denkin?
Well, thank you, Jason. So another Midwest state is running out of weed. Missouri marijuana companies are facing product shortages and price hikes after their adult use launch. It didn't take long for Missouri's new established adult use marijuana market to feel growing pains. The Midwestern market, which launched recreational sales on February 3rd, is off to a sizzling start and on pace to break $1 billion in sales in its first year. But let's make sure we keep it out of Minnesota. But strong demand from medical marijuana patients as well as local and out-of-state consumers has far exceeded operators' expectations and resulted in the kind of product shortages and higher wholesale prices experienced in other newly launched recreational markets. In some areas of the state, particularly near the Kansas border, Missouri retailers are seeing foot traffic increase 9-fold since expanding into recreational sales. In southeastern Missouri, Illinois customers are crossing the Mississippi River in droves for St. Louis cannabis that is significantly cheaper than back home. Even illicit marijuana feeding the market from neighboring Oklahoma hasn't quelled demand in Missouri, leading to big spikes in wholesale flower prices and inventory shortages throughout the supply chain. Ben Burstein at LeafLink said, "There just isn't enough bulk flower for this sort of demand that's come into the market. It's one of the only markets in the country that you can actually say that demand is exceeding supply." It's a stark contrast from other markets such as Massachusetts, Michigan, and Oregon, where falling prices and supply glut are challenging business viability. Operators in Missouri are also avoiding over-leveraging production and resources, a recipe that has led to a glut of product oversupply in markets such as California and Colorado. With dozens of retailers and manufacturers buying bulk flower from only 50 cultivators, and most of them producing at less than half capacity, the price of wholesale flower has skyrocketed the last few months. According to LeafLink, which tracks nearly all wholesale volume in Missouri through its online marketplace, the price of bulk flower has doubled to $3,000 a pound since the launch of adult sales, and bulk flower availability is down nearly 79%, according to the LeafLink data. Product and inventory shortages have followed the launch of recreational sales in several markets over the years, including California, Illinois, Washington State, and in Nevada. Despite the early hiccups, Missouri adult use medical marijuana retailers generated $126.2 million in sales in March, up nearly 23% over February. Total marijuana sales in the state is projected to hit $1.3 billion in the first year of recreational retail, according to the 2023 MJ Biz Fact Book. The crux of the problem in Missouri is cultivation underproduction. 50 of the state's 67 licensed cultivators are operational, and growers are only utilizing 37% of the capacity of all 67 licensed cultivation facilities combined. And that is according to Lisa Cox, a spokesperson for the state's Department of Health and Senior Services. She added, Any product availability issues right now are due to the industry's transition to adult use and are not due to lack of cultivation capacity in Missouri. Lulls in expanding capacities stem partly from the circumstances of legalizing adult use sales in November through a ballot measure. Operators in most cases waited, though, for the results before adding capacity and are now playing catch up. The flower shortage has led to a distillate shortage for manufacturers such as Clover, which is the state's largest producer with nearly 100% coverage across 196 stores in the market. Before recreational sales, the Kansas City-based company had 3 months of product inventory in its vault. After the launch, Clover was operating at a net zero inventory week to week, essentially keeping little or no material in stock. Greenlight Dispensary, one of the state's few vertically integrated retailers, is utilizing the vast majority of its cultivation product within its own retail network. The company started construction on a grow adjacent to its Kansas City operation that's expected to conclude in mid-July, according to their CEO, John Mueller. Beleaf Medical, a vertically integrated retailer based in Earth City, is awaiting approvals to expand its cultivation to about 50% capacity. A Greenlight outlet in Kansas City area is drawing 80% of its visitors from Kansas, where marijuana remains illegal. Missouri holds the rare distinction of bordering 8 states, and only Illinois has recreational marijuana sales. Beleaf, which operates 5 Slade dispensaries in the St. Louis area, has been selling Sensei Cannabis brand to retailers in western Missouri to satisfy demand. While inventory shortages have driven up wholesale prices, retail product prices have gone up only about 10%, according to sales data and operators. Price consistency is partly a reflection of the state's low retail tax rate of only 6%, which will increase another 3% in dozens of jurisdictions later this year after voters overwhelmingly approved cannabis tax hikes in an April 4th ballot measure. The jury is out when inventory shortages will dissipate, but with April 20th just a few days away, the market will likely get another demand surge. As we all know, a cannabis holiday that has a history of wiping out cannabis inventory sales. I'm Todd Denkin with High at 9 News, and yet another shortage in another state. I guess the demand is really high. Pardon the pun.
Pun there, Todd. I like it.
We don't have any numbers on their beverage sales in Missouri, do we?
Do we have a headset representative in the house?
I don't.
Was it been 2 months in now?
Yeah, 2 months in.
2 months in. Let's give it one more month, Jason. We'll have the first quarter of sales numbers rolling in, and we'll be able to revisit that conversation.
They're definitely selling more beverages than suppositories, Jason, for sure.
I believe that. I definitely believe that part.
Shout out to the suppositories, man. We don't talk about them enough.
Shout out to Missouri, like that market right now, and the people are loving it out there.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I mean, when they have very little choice, it's good they're doing it themselves, and
they can drive into Illinois.
Yeah, that's the choice. That's a terrible choice for them. That's an awful choice. Have you seen the weed coming out of Illinois? You talk shit about Colorado weed, but have you seen Illinois weed?
I know it's worse. I know.
Let's be honest. Let's have a real intellectually honest conversation here about
out on the streets. We got better weed on the streets in Chicago.
Weed on the Streets with Jason Beck, where he checks out the boof across the nation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds like a new show.
I think this time we find Jason in Chicago.
With you, bro. Hit the high road, and you can find all the Delta 8, and I'll find all the true THC.
Yeah, listen, sniff it out like a THC bloodhound.
There's somebody on our team from Texas that smokes Delta 8 weekly on Instagram Live. Yeah, you talk to me all the time, bro. One time with Rico Lamitte.
Throwing Rico into the bus with you, Slade. Come on, man. Can't take our dude down.
I don't know. Last time I know Rico smoked Delta 8, he said it was with you, Stone.
Only time I smoked it.
The only time I have.
Yeah, but
I was being open-minded. When I talk trash about stuff and it's baseless, I'm always down to just go marinate in that conversation. And I tried it out on a rooftop in Austin with Stone, and both of us were both like, What is the point of this? I'll never get those 15 minutes of my life back.
I'm down for the baseless booth shit
Now you got
talking because I
to
wish I never did that.
Right? Like that was, oh man.
And I don't. And Slade, you don't look like a guy that says that often, so I know it could not have been good. I know it could not have been.
No, it was pointless.
Stone, did it make you make that face?
All the time. As soon as you hit it, it's like bitter beer face.
Yeah, everyone's saying like, oh, it's kind of like you get drunk. It's kind of like weed light. Like I felt nothing.
Nothing.
You know, it was. I mean, I guess
it tasted good.
It did. Tasty.
That was the terpenes. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, yeah, but there's no effect, like at all. I didn't feel any different than I did before.
Pointless. Close the loophole.
Way better after we lit that joint.
Anyway. Yeah, why would anyone smoke it unless they had to?
Yeah, right. Right.
We're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
Keeping up to date on the evolving policies of relevant state, local, and federal governments is key to success. When the future of your business is at stake, you need representation as dedicated as you are. With a maze of laws and regulations surrounding cannabis, hemp, and psychedelics, knowing where to begin can be a challenge. Good thing the law offices of Omar Figueroa features a skilled, highly focused team ready to guide you through it all. They're accepting new clients in California and New York. So make sure you check them out at info@omarfigueroa.com.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that like button on this episode, and make sure you scan that QR code and go and check out our website, and make sure that you sign up for our newsletter as well as enter our 420 contest and let us know what you're going to be doing for 420. Let us know your pictures, share all this. We love to share it on Instagram and other social media platforms to share what all of you all out there are all doing to celebrate the 420 season. We're going to have a little giveaway or something for somebody. And we're not sure who's going to win or how you're going to win, but we're going to make sure that someone is a winner, because that's what we do here at High at 9. We make winners. That's right. Next commercial, Adam. Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated. You with us, Rico?
I'm a juvenile. You
So,
got this?
You want Stone or Saman? Your choice.
Oh, you just switch it right now in front of my eyes, right?
Well, we kind of had a funny spreadsheet today because Gretchen's out today and tomorrow.
All good. I'm gonna go off top with this.
Apologize.
Out in the Lone Star State, this fellow dope dad could be under the bridge or on the rooftop, dabbing on a little Delta 8, but he chooses to take the high road, sidestep all of that BS, and go hit some of the nation's best flower and put it all on the web, because that's what he does. You know who's coming to the stage next. It's the man, the myth, the legend, Stone Slade.
Can I just say, Jason Beck, take notes. That's how you do an introduction. Today,
I see.
Anyway, today my story comes out of Louisiana. Every aspect of our lives is filled with cause and effect, small or large actions that cause a ripple effect of sub-actions happening as a result of the original one, and the history of cannabis is filled with them. Prohibition was the cause, and the effect has been the creation of the illicit market and decades of unjust imprisonments. Some states are out there talking about THC caps as the cause, and the effect will be lower sales for legitimate cannabis businesses and surging sales for the illicit market. Cause, some states still refuse to legalize adult use, and the effect has been, yes, a healthy illicit market and loophole finding hemp farmers figuring out ways to create synthetic cannabinoids in an effort to expand business and try to replicate the big popular missing ingredient, THC. Recently, the Fed and many states have been cracking down with restrictions and bans on synthetic cannabinoid, like Jason's favorite, Delta 8. But the state of Louisiana took a different approach. Instead of forcing business owners that had literally built an entire business around a product that never should have made it to market, instead of making them shut their businesses down, they decided to go ahead and regulate it. Under Louisiana state law, Hemp products are limited to no more than 8 milligrams of THC per serving, no more than 1% THC by total concentration, and products meant to be inhaled, such as vape pens, are just not allowed. According to a recent Louisiana legislative auditor report, the Louisiana Health Department has been allowing over 200 intoxicating hemp products that violate state law to be marketed and sold. Of the 2,564 registered consumable hemp products sold in the state, 36 of those products that got passed were prohibited vape pens. Another 198 edible products that exceeded the 8 milligram limit on THC, 52 of which the agency actually approved after the law setting the limit became effective. The report also noted that they may not have found all the offending products, and there may still be some on the shelves for you lucky Louisianans. I think that's what you're called. The state health department claimed that staffing issues, including constant turnover, as well as too few employees, have affected its ability to enforce state law. According to the Lafayette Daily Advisor, state officials have also blamed the hemp industry for figuring out ways to thwart state law. Mike Verdine, the agency's sanitarian services director, said, "The first go around seems like the industry found a way around us. Industry finds a way around our regulations sometimes." Louisiana Office of Alcohol and Tobacco Control Commissioner Ernest Liger insists that he's been lenient on enforcement, saying that he prefers to wait until after the 2-month legislative session that began April 10th, until after that, where he believes lawmakers will change and clarify the current laws. Now, at least 2 bills will be debated, one from Republican House Speaker Clay Schneider of Gonzales that would tweak serving size requirements, and another one from Senate Agriculture Committee Chairman Stuart Cathy of West Monroe that would require more significant rollbacks in the industry. Now, last month, House Speaker Clay Schneider also blasted the health department for failing to identify and punish the violators after auditors found the Department of Health has not enforced its emergency rule to remove these ineligible products, which became effective January 23rd. Now, since then, 2 lawsuits have been filed by hemp and industry entrepreneurs fighting any effort to remove any of the previously approved products from the shelves. So much to say about what's going on in Louisiana. You know, I personally, we just talked about this, I don't think synthetic cannabinoids have a place in the industry unless I'm missing anything. If they don't provide any benefits that good old plain Mary Jane provides, then get back in line. There's definitely no reason why these products should be legal and cannabis isn't, when cannabis has centuries of a good proven track record. If anything really needs to be researched, it's these synthetic cannabinoids. And with that said, come on, man. They allowed you to remain in business and you fucked that up. It's literally the perfect example of give an inch, take a mile. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9 News Hour.
Wow.
Did you really do
That
the
was
come on,
awesome.
man?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Man,
Oh,
you
that
gotta get
is
more than an inch.
classic stuff.
Anybody
Totally
else gotta
agree with
come
you,
on, man?
Slade. Totally agree with you, Slade. Respect, bro. Yeah, it took them how many years to investigate the use of cannabinoids in, like, you know, our normal society. Now it's all these other chemicals, all these other, you know, synthetic reactions that are taking place, and all these byproducts in those reactions that we don't even know how to identify them. So let's identify them, and then maybe we'll know what the hell it does to us. But
Or ask them how they.
I'm a
ask
little
them how they
confused
identify
by this story. Just a little bit.
You know what?
I'm a little confused by this story. So it's basically saying that the weed stores in Louisiana have been selling hemp products just like they were a gas station. Am I correct?
So far.
And yet regulators just now figured this out and aren't doing anything about it.
Well, no,
It's
they
protected.
decided to
Did I keep
regulate
off guard this time?
it and allow it, but it doesn't sound like there's been any regulation. They've just continued to let this shit hit the shelves.
I don't think
So-
they're allowed to sell it.
So aren't there like 2 medical licenses, 2 medical producers in Louisiana that have license to actually grow cannabis and make cannabis products and dispense them to
I thought there
medical
were
patients?
4 initially. There might be 2 in
LSU,
Austin.
Happy Day Farms.
Was it 4? Okay, maybe I mean, I'm not the most informed about Louisiana, but I think there are a couple licenses or a few licenses that have been given an awarded license to actually produce, cultivate, manufacture a product. I don't think they can like sell cannabis flower if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. I don't think Louisiana you're allowed to sell flower. I would agree.
Right. It's just like products, right? Edibles or infused products, whatever.
The king,
So-
they had the king cake. They infused.
So-
It was basically
do
how
you-
Florida was before Ron DeSantis allowed everyone to have smokable flower.
Is there? I didn't catch. Was there any comment from any of those licensed producers in Louisiana in the article?
It's the LSU Ag Center and the Southern Ag Center, and their private partners are the only growers that can legally cultivate in Louisiana.
They're private partners. Gotcha.
Yeah, Happy Day Farms is one of them. They're the ones that did the infused.
And are they selling the stuff in dispensaries or smoke shops?
I think
this is the
dispensary. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if it's the real market, but it's
Right.
not. And somehow 36, when nothing smokable is legal, somehow 36 vape pens made it through regulation.
Those aren't smokable. Those aren't smokable. Those are vape pens. Those are vapable products. Those are not considered smokable products.
In the article, it included them together.
Well, I think the article's wrong, or you misread it, or something.
Someone mentioned
could be wrong.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned flowers legal in Louisiana to sell now. So that's interesting.
Who said that? Lisa Green. They sell flower in Louisiana now. What kind of are we sure that's just not like Delta 8 flower?
What up, Lisa?
Delta 8 sprayed hemp.
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
Lisa's actually down there in Nolens.
Yeah.
Big ups to the cannabis movement. It's going slow down there, but it's coming along. And they got flower. How good is that flower down there, Lisa?
Come on, bro. You know she says it's lower than mids. Lower than mids. Oh man, but they sell it. Oh, thank you so much.
I gotta say that this has to probably is going to set the industry back in Louisiana, though. You know,
Big Easy boost.
Why is he going to set the industry back?
Because these people, like I said, give an inch, take a mile. Like they shouldn't even be in business, in my opinion, and the state allows them to continue.
Let me tell you something. This is basically what happened, okay? Is basically you had a concept for a cannabis store and you had a concept for a smoke shop, and you just combine the two, the state's letting them get away with it. That's basically what it sounds like is going on out in the Lou.
It's sad, though. It's sad because I just looked it up, and it says that cannabis flower sales began in January 2022. So they've had a year to get their act together, and
they're still producing trash.
It's trash, but there's plenty for everybody.
But let's address one thing, because we have like a very prominent scientist in our comments right now, and I just want to address something. So me and Dr. Mark have been going back and forth on this in a couple recent shows, but here's the reality. Yes, a kilo of isolate of CBD is really cheap, $250 to actually procure it from someone that made it, for you to buy it, spot buy it on the market, and for you to take that and then go through the synthetic conversion process and turn that into Delta 9, and then vis-a-vis that process, you're actually inevitably going to get a little bit of Delta 8 too. But the point being is that it's actually not that expensive to make Delta 9 THC distillate. Instead of taking another cannabinoid and going through a synthetic process to convert it and change it into the target cannabinoid, when all you have to do, right, is just grow at scale THC. But in places like Oklahoma and other places, they're growing that at huge scale, thousands and thousands of acres of cannabis. So when you're producing that, Dr. Mark and whoever else is listening, you're actually producing it for like, $100 a liter, and you don't have to do any other process. So it's already less than half of the price of the isolate, the CBD isolate, and you're stopping when you get to your THC distillate. So like we have to actually talk about like the elephant in the room, because it's not just a cost thing. It's on a large scale everywhere else in the country, yes, but when we talk on on an ag scale, which a lot of these states are, California, Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, this is where we're talking about. So I just wanted to address that so everyone has some awareness with all this.
We got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back. Thank you, Saman.
How's it going, guys? Saman Razani coming to you from Green Street here with Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast available on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify? Tune in now and check it out.
Oh, yeah. Up next, we got another dope dad. And I think Jason Beck's the only non-parent in the building today, and that's okay because we're very inclusive.
I'm a parent of all children
here. But he's a patient, advocate, and 15-year regulated market industry vet, and award-winning solvent extraction pioneer. Here to break us off with another Talk About It Tuesday story. Saman.
Well, thank you very much, Rico. Appreciate it, everybody. Uncle Jason in the house. You know, he already got the uncle moniker, Rico. So you got to.
JJ.
I have a very funny story for us today. Hilarious, you know, for all of our cannabis enthusiasts out there. This one out of PJ Media. And it starts, New York City is discovering that legalizing marijuana wasn't really a great idea. By Robert Spencer. Decriminalizing marijuana, we've been told to the point of stupor for years, would simply be a matter of recognizing the way society has changed and coming to a mature accommodation of a widespread current practice. It would free up valuable police resources to deal with actual crimes and real criminals and end a longstanding injustice in which, you guessed it, people of color were told disproportionately targeted for arrest and prosecution. So the state of New York has legalized marijuana. And how's it going? Doritos and patchouli oil sales through the roof, maybe. but there have been a lot of unexpected downsides. The New York Post reported that last Monday, the Sunday night murder inside a Harlem smoke shop near the corner of 125th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard, the second shooting in the neighborhood in the last year, is a savage reminder of the state's stupendously disastrous legalization of marijuana. It seems that the state went about the legalization by virtually eliminating the entire criminal code pertaining to marijuana overnight. Making matters even worse, the progressive state lawmakers, bestowed by a woke vision of the pursuit of equity, decided to reserve the first retail licenses for felons and other justice-involved individuals. They wanted to make legalized marijuana a vehicle for reparations. Great idea. The state has been slow to grant licenses to legal marijuana shops. However, so illegal ones have proliferated and cops can do little or nothing to stop them because having weed on the open display isn't against the law. The cops have to be present to witness a sale in order to issue a violation. But these places are also often sell other illegal drugs and quickly become centers for other crimes as well. There has been a sharp rise in robberies targeting illegal smoke shops around the city. There were 251 violent robberies in 2021 and more than double that number in 2022. This year, robberies are up another 10%. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has declared this cannabis stuff is a real problem. He has, however, done nothing about it and insisted that it's the state's problem. Yet the city has plenty of problems of its own that arise from legalization, and they aren't all related to crime. Another unexpected byproduct of the proliferation of grass inside Gotham has been that the city that never sleeps has become the city that always sleeps. The Post's Steve Cuozzo observed Sunday that all too many city stores are staffed by stoners who can barely understand, much less fulfill customer orders. A license to get high, Cuozzo says, has turned service employees into zombies. He adds, I've lived in the city nearly all my life. I've never had to repeat my highly complex Starbucks order, a tall coffee, 3 times to get a response from the bummed out barista, the way I do now. He says that he now regularly encounters service workers who are stoned up the wazoo, hollow-eyed, disengaged from their tasks, their breath reeking of weed. This makes what used to be a routine transaction into unpredictable adventures. Cuozzo recounts, I gave a guy at Pret, a manager, a $20 bill for an $8 cup of soup. I asked for a bag. He took the 20 and promptly forgot my soup, my change, the bag, and me. He wandered off, inexplicably waving my Andrew Jackson like a flag until I appealed to his colleagues. He quotes a bank executive recalling that at a gourmet food shop, the cashier was so out of it, staring into space while people waited in line, she forgot to give me my change. She closed the register. I had to wait for someone to come with the dreaded key. After 10 minutes for a 30-second transaction, she didn't even apologize. Why should she apologize? She is the wave of the future, a citizen of the new nation, diverse, equitable, multicultural, and enlightened. She is the 21st century American. But reading Quoza's stories raises the inevitable question: is it possible that early generations actually had a point in keeping marijuana and other drugs illegal? Did they realize that societal dysfunction and legalizing such substances could cause and opted instead not to make it easy for people to turn themselves into barely functioning messes? Is it time for America to realize that the progressives are taking us to a society that is unlivable in all kinds of ways, that some regress is now in order? And that is my story. I thought it was quite entertaining. Sorry if I couldn't keep my laughter contained there while I was reading it, but I just can't believe people are actually saying this and being quoted for saying this. But that's Saman Razani reporting for High at 9 News. Happy Tuesday. What do my peers think of this?
Oh man, you must be doped up on that weed stuff.
Right. Man,
you must be doped up, man.
Yo, where's my bag? Where's my soup? Where's my? It reminds me of that Weird Al Yankovic First World Problems video. First world problems.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, who wrote that?
PJ Media. PJ Media, originally known.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say his name's Robert Spencer. This guy is hilarious.
I think Robert Spencer is the problem, right? He can't get a cup of soup. He can't get a cup of coffee, right? He's probably the problem child everywhere, right?
He's the common denominator.
If you can Google like PJ Media, originally known as Pajamas Media, is an American right-wing subscription-based commentary website. It is the leading news site covering culture, politics, faith, homeland security, and more.
Is Jason Beck a correspondent there?
Yeah. I saw Margaret James Green's making
anything that involves PJs, I'm already a fan of. Okay,
yeah.
Say hi.
Jason's playing both sides of the game here, man. I like it.
Oh man,
I mean,
no, this was just a great.
I think this guy does have a point, though. I mean,
here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, be careful what you wish for. I mean, truly, like if I'm being totally honest. Like the medical, market and in Colorado and here in California, Prop 215. I mean, everyone was, actually thriving. It's become a whole different game now, and we're seeing like the real tragedy. And this is the bureaucracy that's really holding us back.
No.
Yes, 100%.
No. Here's what's really happening. Okay, here's what's really happening. The whole service industry has gone to shit. 100%. All right, and it's not just in New York; it's here in LA too. The whole service industry has totally gone to shit. And I'm going to tell you right now, this guy is blaming weed, but I actually blame other things like the pandemic and all of that.
100%.
Because that's when you saw the steep decline in customer service, and now you have all these like younger, super entitled, younger generation employees working, and all they know how to do is lie.
That's the truth.
Was it? I mean, is the pandemic to blame, or is the pandemic to blame for just accelerating something that was already going to happen?
You know what? That's an excellent question, Rico. I'm not sure, but for them to be blaming cannabis and the proliferation of bodegas out in New York is just ridiculous.
Sounds like a pretty standard issue right wing thing to do.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Blame the weed.
I'm here to correct the record for all of them that they are barking up the wrong tree with this one. That they need to be focused on other things.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds like the wrong.
That was the message. This is just are you really complaining? Are you really complaining someone messed up your Starbucks order? Come on, like we have way bigger problems and way bigger issues as a society. But again, like it's just really interesting to see what perspective these native New Yorkers have of how their city has changed, how the landscape has changed per se. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I say toke it up. Of course, it goes better with coffee anyway.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, I have one more story before we close up, but I'm going to keep it super sweet because we are at time. But I do want to make sure that I share this news for you guys. But I'm going to encourage you all. I'm just going to synopsis this real quick. But make sure you go over to our website, High at 9 News, and read this full story, because you are definitely going to want to see the hypocrisy and the craziness that is happening in the state of New Jersey. Because you know what New Jersey did yesterday, you guys? That's right. The New Jersey cannabis regulators are reversing their decision and renewing Curaleaf's ability to sell adult use cannabis, vacating an earlier decision. Yes, it's total craziness. And they're like, as long as you guys operate with the good faith moving forward, then we're going to give you guys this right back. And so I encourage you, go over to the website, click on the button, read the story. You're going to definitely want to check this out. This is a definite hot read, and you will not believe the shitstorm that you see inside of there.
They protested, right? That's why they were
hey,
protesting.
let me tell you, Saman, you don't get to ask those questions. You have to go to the site and go.
The booth is back in
Money
town.
was exchanged here.
Yeah,
High at 9 News at onlyfans.com. Check out our paid content.
New Jersey.
Dope dad bods.
Lots of microphones and wires and cables.
Mm-hmm. Extra long. But thank you all out there for tuning in with us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can always catch us weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our live audience members and online supporters tuning in and giving us feedback on the daily headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted industry correspondent team tuning in from all over the global community, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and adding your respected opinions to the conversation. To our production team, the wonderful Jaja Simone holding things down again over in Clubhouse, to House of Fuego, and also break it down. Yeah. All of our sponsors bringing us to a tilt today. And to the haters, keep doing your thing. We're gonna keep on doing ours. You give us nothing but love and affection, and just come back stronger, bigger, and faster every single day. Positivity. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2 days to 420. You've been blessed with today's top industry headlines, and I hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke, at least until tomorrow. Unless it's just sprinkled with Delta 8, and you just like leave that. Put it aside. My name's Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad in the street, and I'm signing off for the day. Please remember, when life gives you no place else to turn, you can always turn up. Todd Denkin, leave these people with a good message for the day. What you got for them?
I will. I would like to give a quick shout out to everybody's favorite veteran, Sean Kiernan. Today's his birthday.
Yo,
Happy birthday, Sean.
Birthday, Sean.
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna dedicate this episode to Sean Kernan.
Hell yeah. He's getting really old, though, too. So
He is.
he's not going to remember these things after a while.
It's
good to get him in now.
Video and the internet is for, because they last forever.
That's right.
I saw him yesterday. I'm pretty sure he looks even older today.
Dad jokes.